What's up, everybody? So in this video, I'm going to talk about why you need a home lab and why everybody needs a home lab. First off, I've been doing this for about 7 or 8 years now. And the reason I originally started in a home lab was because I wanted to learn a little bit about IT, and I actually got given a computer with Linux on it. Now, that computer is this big old guy. And this is where I started. I started with Debian and VirtualBox. Now, those two things got me kind of interested into Linux, but then allowed me the opportunity to start learning Windows and managing Windows servers and domains and all of those different things. So I was able to learn and grow in a field that I thought I might be interested in. Fast forward 8 years later, and I am a system administrator working in an awesome company that I've been working to try to get with for a long time. Now, I would had the opportunities to go to colleges, did the college thing. It was great. But the place that I learned the most was in my home lab. I originally, like I said, started out with VirtualBox on Linux. Now, VirtualBox is one of the coolest programs that you can get because basically what that is, it is a type 2 hypervisor. Now, a type 2 hypervisor, what that means is it's running on top of an operating system like Windows, Linux, or Mac. You just download it and you can start spinning up VMs inside of there. So right now I'm trying to spin up a new Ubuntu server or Ubuntu desktop because I want to play around with it. The other options that you have are things like a server like or a computer like this and turning it into something like Proxmox. Now, Proxmox is a type 1 hypervisor, which means it's installed on bare bones and you're able to really use all of the resources and it gets passed through from the host or the hypervisor as is the computer thinks that, or the computer can have all of that. There's no real interference like with Windows or Linux when you're using VirtualBox. And you're able to share that between multiple different VMs. Now, this is not my only Proxmox server. These are actually 3 that I put into a cluster. Then I have 2 big servers that are sitting out in the garage that run Proxmox also. And the reason why is I wanted to play around with real equipment that you may see out in the field. So I do actually have the big servers, but you don't need to start out with those things. You can start out with a home with VirtualBox and just start building a Ubuntu desktop, maybe setting up your first domain, which I do have a video on installing VirtualBox and setting it up, and then installing Windows Server 2022 and setting up your first domain and adding some computers to that domain. And I'll put those down in the video or up here in the top. But like I said, having a home lab gives you ability to learn. And you can do it on pretty much anything. From these big old computers that I just showed you to a little bitty Raspberry Pi. Or that old laptop that you got laying around. Or the way that I've upgraded now to get rid of those big old servers that cost me a lot of money and energy to these little micro PCs. Or you even got the NASs like Synology, TrueNAS, which TrueNAS is a software, or Synology is a physical device that has an operating system on it that you can do containerization. And all of these different things are things that you get to play around with inside of your home lab just to start enjoying and learning and really showing you where you want to go in this IT field. Or let's say you decide that you want to just have some things like a Plex server running in your house where you can sit there and actually watch movies with your family and different things like that around your house. And you get to keep the data. You get, if you want to see a new movie, you can get it, go buy it, however you decide to get your movies for Plex. But you can have your own media server. You don't got to worry about Netflix or Disney, somebody taking it off when you were really thinking about watching that movie. So I absolutely love going to run my own little mini Netflix. The other options, you can run containers. So like Heimdall. Heimdall is one of my favorite things where you can have a quick little access to your VMs or your Proxmox servers, your Unify controller, your video recording. So like I have cameras around my house. That's what I use to record my videos locally. Then you can also go in. One of the things that I do is my wife owns a travel business. So there's a lot of websites that I need to keep or that she needs to keep up with, be able to get to. And these are some of her quick links. So she doesn't have to have all that stuff pasted up here in the top because nobody likes to have the bookmarks. And if you do, I'm sorry, but they kind of get in my way and they take away some of my real estate on my screen. But you get to start with things like that. You can run little light OSs like Casa OS on a Raspberry Pi, or run Raspbian, install your first Plex server, or put even a Ubuntu server on those things. All of this stuff you get to do inside of your home lab. You can explore it, have fun, learn new things, test it, break it, and really just have a good time and enjoy what you're doing. Now, I am going to put a little bit of disclosure in here. Once you start going into the world of networking, so you bring in some APs and you bring in your net, or you take your network from the ISP and then you go to your own firewall. So like something like pfSense or using Unify, that you can control all of the devices that you have in your network and see all the clients that you have and be able to look at a topology map and really understand how networks flow and all of these different things you get to learn and you get to enjoy, like I said, what you're doing. So really the reason that I think that every person should have a home lab is really just to be able to tinker, to learn something new. If you saw something on a Reddit post or watching something on YouTube, you're like, hey, I want to test that out. So I saw something last night. It is called Millie. And one of the biggest things is me and my wife were extremely busy. So we have to meal prep. Now what Millie is, it is a application that you can go onto something like Pinterest, find a recipe that sounds good, put the URL in, it downloads it for you so that you've got that chili recipe. And then you can do a meal planner and add it to the day that you want to go in. So let's say like tomorrow, I want to do a marry me chicken pasta recipe. I go create. Now it's on my menu. But then I have Home Assistant, which I just recently installed back again. I can see my cameras, and then I've got right here, I've got a calendar that tells me tonight we're having chili, and then tomorrow we're gonna have a marry me chicken. And here's my AC, here's my lights, so I can turn on my lights on and off from down here. I got the weather for tomorrow and what time it is. Now, all of these really cool things are things that I would have never been able to do if I didn't have a home lab. And I've gotten to learn, like I said, learning is the biggest part of it. Is maybe you want to get into system administration, maybe you want to get into networking, maybe you want to learn something about Docker or about containerization, cloud. How do you talk between a local network and a cloud network? All of those things you can start by just starting your own home lab. It doesn't have to be these big fancy servers that you're seeing online or all of those computers that you can do it. You can literally start on the computer that you're watching me on. Even your cell phone, there are applications that you can start running a Linux server on or a Linux operating system on it. Taking that old hardware that you've got lying around, you could really make something that you're proud of and something that you truly enjoy. Now, if you want to get more into the home lab environment, whether it's VirtualBox, Proxmox, I'll eventually pick up like a Synology NAS or something like that. But the reason that I really wanted to do this video is just to show you that anybody can get into it and there's no real cost to it right at first, or maybe even ever. You could take older equipment that your family's getting rid of or they're going to throw away, or you maybe go talk to a local company and say, hey, I'll do all of the destroying of your data if I can have those PCs or that server that you're sitting there destroy the hard drives, do a kill disk on it, and there you go. Now you've got you a server that you might not even had to pay for. Maybe you had to do a little bit of work for it, but you get to really build something that you're proud of, get to do something with your hands and use your mind and all of those things. So I think home labbing is one of the best things that you can do, whether it's just building your own little media server, building up some automations, learning how to manage users inside of Active Directory, learning group policy, learning how to use command line in Linux, or installing your first Docker, your first YAML with Docker, or just anything that you can think of that you do in the modern world, or what we would touch in the modern world, you can do it right here in your home lab. You can even set up your own little cybersecurity network so that you can enjoy and start learning, is this really something I want to do? Now, like I said, full disclosure, when you start doing this, it is going to take you a lot of time. You're not going to know everything, but that's okay. That's what this is for. So that way you can really take this and show maybe your future employer, like, hey, this is what I've got going on in my network. Actually, that was something I talked about when I got into this, or when I got this new role, is I've got servers, I've got multiple VMs running in my network, and I got to talk to them about it, how I set my network up, how I've got VLANs going, how I've got my network in pass-through mode and VPNs and all of those things that you would really use. So get out there, start your first home lab. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular. We all started somewhere. And once you start learning it, maybe you'll grow. Maybe what you have, the little Raspberry Pi or that PC, will do everything you need to. So get out there, home lab, and keep enjoying life. And I'll see you in the next one.